Great at making goals, terrible at actually doing them. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and as we are in July and we are just past the midpoint of the year, let's take a look at how my reading goals for the year are coming along. I've got a couple of things that I really wanted to focus on for 2024, whether it was my NetGalley numbers, whether it was the Pop Sugar reading challenge, whether there were a couple of books that my friends had told me to read. I need to sit down and actually figure out where I need to put more of my effort and where I am doing pretty okay. Let's start with the generic reading goals that I set way back at the start of 2024. The first one was to read 100 books for the year, and so far I am on track. I have gotten over the halfway point, which is where you want to be at the halfway point of the year. I'm actually at 67 books already. Quite a lot of that is thanks to the Amazing Readathon, which happened in June this year. So I did see myself over the halfway point, I think something around mid-June. So I'm doing pretty okay with that one. A connected one that isn't really doing so well is to put €1 in a jar for every book that I have finished. I do this with my Revolut. It is a banking app that is set up across Europe and across the world. You have virtual jars in which you can put money to save up for things, and I put €1 into this virtual jar every single time I finish a book. The thing is that June really spiraled out of control when it came to my reading, and I haven't been able to actually keep up with putting €1 into the jar. I have got about 58 or so euro in there, so I'm not super far behind, but I do just need to wait for the next payday so that I can take in a little bit more. For the intention of keeping my physical TBR under 50 books, having my birthday in June does not help with that. I did do a little bit of shopping for myself. I did get a couple of gifts, and at present I'm sitting at 62. It's 12 over where we want to be, so it's not super bad. It's not hundreds over where I want it to be, but it is a little bit over. It does mean that in the second half of the year, maybe I need to get a look at these shelves and see what it is that I can take off of it. If I can keep reading a couple of books that I've already got on my physical TBR, or if there are a couple of books on there that maybe don't need to be there anymore. One that is surprisingly going pretty well is that I wanted to read a library book every 2 months. Now, when I say a library book, I've mainly been listening to audiobooks via BorrowBox and via Libby, but I haven't actually physically gotten a book out from my local library here in Berlin for I think a couple of months by now. I think the last time I was there was maybe March or April. So I do want to go and check out more of the physical books that they have gotten there. I know that they have a really great selection because I actually donate a lot of books to them, so I know that they are kind of stacking up on the books lately. I don't generally tend to go for the books that I have donated because that feels a bit of a vicious circle. But when I am donating, I always go into the English section, have a look at what's there, have a look at what's available. And I am pretty impressed with what they have so far. They've got a lot of romance books, they've got a lot of thrillers, they've got a good couple of non-fiction books in there as well. And there's a lot of genres that I would read, and there's a lot of genres that I wouldn't really go for. So it is going to be a really great way for me to expand my reading taste a bit. I also wanted to complete the Pop Sugar reading challenge and the Buzzword reading challenges this year. So far, both of those are doing pretty okay. Pop Sugar, I am at 23 of the regular prompts, and when you combine that with the 2 bonus prompts that I've already picked, I am halfway through the prompts. I've kind of played it a little bit safe in the first half of the year though. I've done a lot of the prompts that I knew I would enjoy. So I have done a romance that is by a trans or non-binary author. I have done a book that focuses on video games. I have done a book that was set in the snow. And I think that I need to go into the prompts now for the rest of the year that for me will be a little bit harder to fulfill. For example, a book that is written by somebody who is or was incarcerated, or a horror book that is written by a person of color. I am not a horror reader, so it's not one that was going to be very easy for me to fulfill, but I'm going to give it a try. As for Buzzwordathon, I have got all 6 of the prompts from January to June ticked off, and I've had some really great reading with those. There will be a couple of them that are going to catch me through the end of the year, but December is going to be so easy for me to tick off, so I just need to kind of ride that wave a little bit more. A couple of years ago, I put on that I wanted to read at least 75% of every single TBR that I had made, and I put that back on this year because when I hadn't put it on, I found that I wasn't really concentrating on books that I put on TBR so much. Either I was completely forgetting that I had put them on there, or I just was putting them on there for the sake of saying, oh, I might read it at some stage and then not do it. But I have become a little bit more strict with this, and I have become a little bit more conscious of the books that I'm putting on, and why am I putting them on there is a specific reason. Is it an author that I really enjoy? And so far, I am sitting at about 75% of them done. Every seasonal TBR that I do, and all of my seasonal TBRs except for winter have got 6 books on there. Winter has usually 4 or 5. And I have gotten 5 books from every one of those TBRs done, either fully read or DNF'd. It doesn't count if I haven't started the book at all. So far, fingers crossed, we're going to keep going to the end of the year, but so far I am ticking this one off. One that I have not looked at all, and definitely one that my library is going to help me with, is that I needed to read a book in German that I hadn't read before in English. I've read 2 books in German before, fully cover to cover, but they were books that I've read in English already. So I knew the plot, I knew everything that was going on. I didn't have to concentrate on what the story was. I just had to listen to the grammar, and I just had to pay attention to the sentence structure. But now I want to bring it up a little bit. I want to see if I can actually understand what the story is while reading in my second language. One that is definitely going well though is that I wanted to host more sprints this year, including holding sprints on my own, and I have smashed that out of the park. I have gotten a lot more comfortable with hosting sprints, especially if I'm doing it on my own, because it can be a little bit intimidating to just sit in front of your laptop and feel like you are only speaking to yourself. It is a little bit intimidating. It can be really, really stressful. But I have gotten into a kind of a routine with them. I used to do a lot of Friday evening sprints, and I'm definitely going to be bringing those back. I did a lot of sprints during the Amazing Readathon. I will be doing a lot of sprints for the Mid-Year Scramble. There are a couple of other readathons that are coming up that I'll be involved in and that I will definitely be doing sprints for. So far, I have definitely found my footing when it comes to sprints. Then let's go on to the specific book related ones. As of now, I only have 2 books for my 12 and 24 list ticked off. And those are Will They or Won't They by Julie Soto, which was recommended to me by Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading, and Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, which was recommended to me by Miss JT Ratty. I have still got 10 other books on that list, and I only have 6 months to tick them off, and it's not even a full 6 months, so I really need to get my skates on here. My series intentions, however, is looking a lot healthier. I put 10 series on that list that I wanted to read at least the next book of. That would mean that some of them were being completely finished. That would mean that some of them I was just starting a little bit out of them. Some of them it was somewhere in the middle. I have gotten 5 of them ticked off, whatever that may mean. So I am halfway through with this one. There are a couple of series that it just doesn't make sense to read them right now. For example, I want to read The Thursday Murder Club when it comes to September, October, because it is a thriller. So I want to read something that's a little bit more atmospheric around that time. For the Billionaire Dreamland series, I've had a couple of ideas for videos that I want to do with that one. So I need to wait until a right time for that one to be picked up. But 5 of them ticked off halfway through is pretty good going by now. That is a quick rundown of how all of my reading goals so far are doing in 2024. What reading goal are you absolutely smashing this year, or is there one that you need to give a little bit more attention to? If you'd love to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me the green tick box emoji, because that is really going to spur me on to start ticking off a couple more of these boxes. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.